sorry about that. I already pasted the link. So let's see how many of you are going to join the class now. So I pasted the link. I will paste the link again. So if you can try it again, the link is same, and I will keep posting the link, and I will try to remember next time to paste the number also, the passcode, because I don't know why it was asking you. I pasted it. Yes, I know it's asking you the passcode. I don't know what happened, but I already gave you the passcode also, so you can try that one. Okay, so it's there. You can join that way. So Sunita is already here, so she, I think, used the passcode. Okay, so let's see. You all can use the passcode, but I will fix that problem later on when you don't require a password. You can just click on it the way we used to. So I think that will be more easy. So how are you, everyone?
Hello, ma'am.
Hello. So Kajal is here. So 3 people are in the waiting room. Okay, Prachi, Nayak, Sandeep, MD. Good. Good to see many of you today. Okay, so I mean, it's an open invitation to any viewer who wants to be in the class, who want to join the class and want to practice with us. You all are welcome. Okay, so Prachi is joining twice. Maybe she is using 2 devices. Okay, so how is everyone? Good?
Fine, ma'am.
Excellent, ma'am.
Okay, so Kajal is still connecting. Sunita already know about the story. MD he knows about the story. Sandeep and Subhash also know about the story we are reading. So I'm not sure if Kajal Nayak, did you watch yesterday the Saturday sessions? Did you get a chance to watch?
Hello, ma'am.
Saturday
Good,
session?
good evening, ma'am, as well as good morning.
Good morning.
No, ma'am, I didn't watch that videos.
Okay. So MD, just briefly tell the story. Because I do not want this repeating same from the beginning. That's why I posted everything on the community, so you can watch that and before you join the class. So you should be familiar with the lesson, right? So
Sorry, ma'am, I will do.
that's fine, but in future try to watch those videos, then you will have a better understanding of everything. Okay. So yes, and quickly, just
Ma'am, I haven't joined, I think, that class.
oh. Okay, Sandeep, quickly. Winn-Dixie, okay, I'm going to say Winn-Dixie is the name of the store, and the girl went there and she found a dog over there, and she just adopted that dog because the store people were trying to give that dog away to put them on sleep. Put them on sleep means to give them to kill them. So this girl got him, and she convinced her father to keep that dog as a pet. So father agreed, and now she's keeping that dog, and she talks to that dog because she's lonely. And now this girl, she is her mom is not with her, and now mom is not in the picture, so she's asking her dad about the mom. So now in this lesson we will be learning more about mom, right? Okay, so that's what but if you want to know a detailed story, then you need to go and watch all those lessons.
I'm sorry, I was there in the class. Last I have joined that class.
Right, you were in the class last time, but before that, you were not in the class, so you can go ahead and watch the Okay, so let's see. I will be sharing with you the slides. So if you can see this one, so this is a what? What you see in this picture?
Sofa.
Sofa set.
Yes, sofa set.
Okay, so in a Rachi, okay, so what do you think? How this is going to relate with the story? Any predictions you can make? Predictions are that but other students might be able to make the predictions because we make the predictions based on what we see in the story or things already happened in the story. What do you think this will be?
Ma'am, I think there in that Scotch, they will be getting. They will have a conversation among
Okay.
themselves.
Okay. Okay. So and it's like a couch also. They call couch too. And what is this?
Constellation, ma'am, galaxy. Think of galaxy.
Right. It's about galaxy, about the stars and the shapes, right? It's called constellations. Okay. Yeah, this is another one. So this is a picture of a woman, and you can see this word. I'm telling you, freckles. Freckles, you see the mark on the face. See those like black dots on the face? And it's very common here, actually. Many people get these kind of freckles. And the reason I think, I don't know the reason. It's kind of like a skin disease. And many people sometimes they have these kind of marks on their skin. And usually you see these freckles mostly on a very fair skin. People those have a very, very white, fair color. Sometimes they get these freckles. Now, the red hair, do you see the color? The red hair? What do you think? Who is she?
Ma'am, it's India's mother, India Paul's mother.
Right, maybe India Paul's mother, right? That's what we're talking about. Okay, so why we have this picture?
She's growing vegetable.
Paul's mother likes to used to like gardening, to do gardening.
Right. If you remember from the previous lesson, you remember that the dad is going to tell Paul about her mother, right? That's what she wants to know, right? She wants to know about her mother because she said, I never saw her. I didn't even remember her. So if you can tell me about my mother, right? So dad might going to tell her about her mother. Okay. My first reader, Subhash Karki. Let's read.
Okay, ma'am. On said the preacher, we were sitting on the couch and Winn-Dixie was sitting between us. Winn-Dixie had already decided he liked the couch a lot. On said the preacher again. Winn-Dixie looked at him kind of hard. Your mama was funny. She could make just about anybody laugh.
Right.
Too, he said. She had red hair and freckles, just like me. I said, just like you? The preacher nodded. 3. She liked to plant things. She had a talent for it. She could stick a tire in the ground and grow a car.
Okay, that's it. Okay, so if you notice here, now mama, how mama, so preacher. Who is the preacher?
Preacher is the father.
Preacher is the
Father.
father, right? And so she said, she's telling about how Winn-Dixie Winn-Dixie likes to sit with them on the couch, right? The sofa, right? The couch is sofa in India, you say sofa. Here we usually say couch. So he likes to sit with them, with the Opal, India, Opal, and with the father. So now preacher is telling, if you have a notebook, please write down the point, because then you will be describing the mom. So what is the one thing she has? Mom is, what is the first characteristic he described mom?
She was funny.
She was funny, right? So mom is funny, and mom had what?
She had
Number
freckles.
2, red hair and freckles.
Red hair and freckles.
Right. So she's funny. Funny is her behavior, her attitude, right? So she's funny. And red hair and freckles are her look, right? How she looks. Okay. And then number 3, what she likes,
She likes plants.
She
right?
liked to
She likes
plant things.
the things. So that means he's saying that she was, okay. So dad is saying that she had a talent for it. She could stick a tire in the ground and grow a car. This is, look at this one. She could stick a tire in the ground and grow a car. What does that mean? Anyone can guess? What does that mean?
Ma'am, she could easily plant vegetables or fruits.
Right. She has a talent. She's a good in all that stuff, that she is so like a, sometimes people say like a green hand, I think also. That means also that you are good in something, planting. Okay. So that means that she can plant any kind of seed. That seed's gonna grow, right? And that seed gonna grow and have fruits or vegetables that she was so talented. So that doesn't mean that she is sticking a tire and doing a car, right? But that is the other way to say the same thing. It's like a comparison, right?
Yes, ma'am.
Okay. So far you know her 3 qualities, like how she looks, what she likes to do, and her attitude. Like she is nice, she's funny, and she is easily growing. She likes to grow. She likes to grow plants. Okay, and then she has red hair and freckles. And what India says when dad was telling that she has red hair and freckles. So India says just like me. So that
like me.
means India's Opal's hair color. What is the hair color?
Red color.
Red hair.
What she has on her face?
Freckles.
Freckles.
Just like mom, right? So just like mom, she has freckles and red hair. Now, did we see India, Pal? No, but we are just know now because she said, oh, just like me. So mom was like me. Her face and her hair were just like me. Okay, Sandeep, read this one, please.
Okay, ma'am. Winn-Dixie started chewing on his paw, and I tapped him on the head to make him stop. "Mom," said the preacher, "she could run fast. If you were racing her, you couldn't ever let her get a head start. Well, she would beat you for sure." "I am that way too," I said. Back home in Watley, I raced Liam Fullerton and beat him. And he said it wasn't fair because boys and girls shouldn't race each other to begin with. I told him he was just a sore loser. The preacher nodded. He was quiet for a minute. "I'm ready for number 5, I told him.
Right. Okay. So Winn-Dixie started chewing on his paw. You know paw. What is paw means?
In mouth side.
Panja.
Huh?
Panja, ma'am, panja.
Paw is panja, right? So the bare hand is the, right? So dogs are chewing, and you know the dogs, they usually do that. That's their habit. They chew their paws. And I tapped him on the head to make him stop. So tapping kya hai? This one, right? Stop it.
Clap, clap.
Okay. Not clap. Tap means on his body, like tapping.
Okay, okay. Yeah, I got it.
Okay, 4, said the preacher. She could run fast. So she was what? If you were racing her, you couldn't ever let her get a head start. A head start, because she would beat you for sure. So what the preacher is saying, the 4th quality, mom's fourth quality is what?
She could run fast.
Run fast.
She was a fast runner, right? So if someone runs fast, that means a fast runner. So mom was fast runner. Okay, that's what she had, that quality, right? Or characteristic. So I am that way too, I said. So I am that way too. What does that mean?
Winn-Dixie also can run faster.
Winn-Dixie, yeah.
It's not Winn-Dixie, guys. Winn-Dixie is a dog. We are talking about a girl.
Preachers can also.
Oh, sorry. Yeah.
Who?
India
Pre-
Palpan.
Yes,
India
India. Because India Opal is saying that I am that way too. That means I am also going to be a fast runner like my mom. That's what she's saying. Then she said, oh, back home. Where back home? In Wetley. Remember that they used to live there in Florida?
Yeah,
Wetley?
previous town. Yeah.
Right. So she said, there I raced Liam Fullerton and beat him, and he said it wasn't fair because boys and girls shouldn't race each other to begin with. So because the boy, he didn't accept what? He didn't,
Losers.
yeah, he didn't accept that he lost the race, right? He said, right, no, it should not be between boys and girls, right? I told him he was just a sore loser. Sore loser is just like a saying that someone who is do not have that kind of quality, but he will not admit it, right? He will say, oh, no. In other words, he was kind of like thinking that, no, it's not fair. We should not run together because he lost it. So the preacher nodded. He was quiet for a minute. I am ready to number 5. I told him. So one thing I want you to think about here. The preacher nodded. He was quiet for a minute. Why? Why do you think? When anyone can think it, can analyze it in a deeper way if you already know this story? Anyone? This line, the preacher nodded, he was quiet for a minute, has a very deep meaning. Anyone can figure it out. Think about the story. Think about the 2nd chapter and the 3rd, and the father and the daughter's relationship, and how India Opal behaves and how her behavior with the dog, and then now how she wants to know about her mother, and now how she is, what she's doing, by the way, when she's listening from her father, what she's doing. Anyone can scratch your brain and think about it? Anyone? Deepak? Sandeep?
No, ma'am, I can't think.
You cannot think? Okay. So you remember, this girl is, when father is telling her about her mother, and she is comparing herself with the mother. She was like, oh, so like me, she had freckles and she had hair color like me. And now she's comparing her other quality with her. Like, Dad, I'm also a good runner. And you remember that? So what father is thinking? That she is what? She's really,
Ma'am, he might be thinking that she is more similar to her mother than him.
no, I think because he nodded and he was quiet for a minute. That means if, hey, the way I will say, when you talk about the characters, you need to put yourself in that character's mind and then talk. Okay. So put yourself in that person's situation and then speak about it. What do you think they feel? Okay. So Mehak Tiwari, you need to click on this link and the passcode if you want to join the class. Are you in the class, Mehak? I don't know. She's saying, ma'am, let me get in the class. Okay. So here, father is now like thinking about this girl's loneliness and about this girl's, how she's missing her mother and how she's trying to connect it. So he was kind of like lost in all that kind of situation, right? So that's why he was quiet for a minute. So because he was thinking that my daughter, she's missing her mother and she's comparing herself with the mother, right? Okay, let's move on to the next one. And then my next reader will be, who is here? MD, go ahead. I will give the chance to all new students, those they just joined the class today, okay? Don't worry, please.
5. 5 is said she couldn't cook. She burned everything, including water. She had a hard time opening a can of beans. A can of beans. She couldn't make a head or tail of a piece of meat. 6. The preacher rubbed his nose and looked up at the ceiling. Winn-Dixie looked up too. Number 6 is that your mama loved a story. She would sit and listen to the story all days long. She loved to be told a story. She especially liked funny ones, stories that made her laugh. The preacher nodded. The preacher nodded his head like he was agreeing with himself.
Okay, so so we already know the qualities. We already know that she was funny. She liked to grow. She had freckles and red hair, and she was a fast runner. Now she's not a good cook, right? She's not a good cook, so she couldn't cook. She burned everything, including water. She had a hard time opening a can of beans. She couldn't make head nor tail of piece of meat. 6. So these, all those things that she was not even able to open the can of beans, or she even didn't know how to cook meat or anything. So the numbers, that means these all things are including for that she's not a good cook, sorry, right? These all things are telling us that she was not a good cook. And number 6 is, the preacher rubbed his nose and looked up at the ceiling. Winn-Dixie looked up too. So number 6 is that your mama loved a story. She would sit and listen to stories all day long. You see this word, we all day long.
Yes,
I think we are getting this word a lot in our readings. Okay,
Yes,
she would sit and listen to stories all day long. She loved to be told a story. She especially liked funny ones, stories that made her laugh. The preacher nodded his head like he was agreeing with himself. So why she liked funny stories? Because she was what in the beginning, remember that?
funny.
She was funny.
Funny, right? So that's why she likes funny stories, the laughable stories, which can make her laugh or other people laugh. So she likes to listen to the stories and she likes to tell the stories, right? That's her other characteristic. Okay, the next one, Karunesh. You want to read this? Karunesh?
Yes, ma'am.
Ma'am, I think the slide is Zoom. So
Huh?
the slide is Zoom, and I think this is not the full text.
नहीं full text show रहा है.
Let me see. I was on the, let me check.
Okay, ma'am. Okay.
You cannot see the full text?
मैम हो रहा है, full C हो रहा है.
Okay, okay.
Fine.
Who is the next one? Yes, go ahead, Karunesh.
What's number 7? I asked. Let's see, he said. She know all the constellations, every planet in the nighttime sky. Every last one of them, she could name them and point them out, and she never got tired of looking up at them. Number 8, said the creatures which his eye closed was that he hit began a pincher's wife. He said she just couldn't stand having the ladies at church judge what she was wearing and what she was cooking and how she was singing. She said it made her feel like a bug under a microscope.
Right. So the number 7 is, so she was good in what? Reading the stars, the planets, right? She knew all the constellations, means the shapes in the stars and how they make all the constellations. I already showed you the pictures. So every planet in the nighttime sky, every last one of them, she could name them and point them out. And she never got tired of looking up at them. And so number 8, said the preacher with his eyes closed, was that she hated being a preacher's wife. So she didn't like, right? She didn't like to be preacher's wife. She said she just couldn't stand having the ladies at church judge what she was wearing and what she was cooking and how she was singing. So she said it made her feel like a bug under a microscope. This is a simile, right?
Yes,
So
ma'am.
she was not feeling comfortable. Why? Because the people, because he was preacher. So this her husband was in the church. He works for a church, and people were just judging her being a wife of a preacher, right? So she didn't like that. That was the reason I think she didn't want to be around with him. Okay. Okay, I hope you all know the microscope, right? You have microscopes in your school where you see the leaves and the things sometimes. Remember that, right? Okay, so now we already know she was funny. She didn't like to be preacher's wife. She was able to tell all the names of the stars in the sky. She was good in that. Now, who wants to read? Kajal Nayak. Read, please.
I'm reading. When Dixie lay down on the couch, he put his nose in the preacher's lap and his tail in mine. 10, said the preacher. 9, I told him. 9, said the preacher. She drank beer and whiskey and wine. Sometimes she couldn't stop drinking, and that made me and your mama fight quite a bit. Number 10, he shared with a long sigh. Number 10, is that your mama loved you? She loved you very much, but she left me, I told him.
Okay, so when Dixie lay down on the couch, he put his nose in the preacher's lap and his tail in mine. So please make sure the Dixie is the dog. So preacher was kind of like missing number 9, right? He said 10, said the preacher. And she said, no, 9. I told him, you miss, like, in other words, I mean, he didn't want to tell her, right? That's what it is. 9, said the preacher. She drank beer and whiskey and wine. Sometimes she couldn't stop drinking, and that made me and your mama fight quite a bit. So they were used to fight because she was what? She was a heavy drunkard, right? So she was drinking a lot. Okay. So number 10, he said with a long sign, like this, okay? Long sign means. Number 10 is that your mama loved you. She loved you very much. But she left me, I told him, right? Okay. So they used to fight a lot, right? And because she was a heavy drunkard. Okay, the next one, who is Sunita? Did you get a chance to, or Subhash Karki? Did you get a chance to read?
Yes, I already, ma'am.
Okay.
No, ma'am.
Okay, Sunita, go ahead.
She left us, said the preacher softly. I could see him pulling his old turtle head back into his stupid turtle shell. She packed her bags and left us, and she didn't leave one thing behind. Okay, I said. I got up off the couch. Winn-Dixie hopped off too. Thank you for telling me, I said. I went right back to my room and wrote down all 10 things that the preacher had told me. I wrote them down just the way he said them to me so that I wouldn't forget them. And then I read them out loud to Winn-Dixie until I had them memorized. I wanted to know those 10 things inside and out. That way, if my mama ever came back, I could recognize her and I would be able to grab her and hold on to her tight and not let her get away from me again.
Mhm. Okay, so she left us, said the preacher softly. I could see him pulling his old turtle head back into stupid turtle shell. She packed her bag and left us, and she didn't leave one thing behind. So right now, preacher's voice is soft because he is kind of like recalling whatever happened, right? So he said she didn't even leave anything behind. Okay, I said. I got up off the couch. Winn-Dixie hopped off too. Thank you for telling me, I said. So I went right back to my room and wrote down all 10 things that the preacher had told me. I wrote them down just the way he said them to me so that I wouldn't forget them. And then I read them out loud to Winn-Dixie until I had them memorized. So what this girl is doing, she's trying to write down, and because she wants to remember everything about her mother, right? I want you to know those 10 things inside and out. So she didn't want to miss anything about her mother. She wanted to know everything about her mother, right? So that way, if my mama ever came back, I could recognize her and I would be able to grab her and hold on to her tight and not let her get away from me again. So this was the end of this chapter, what we were reading. So what do you think about this girl? Now I'm gonna ask you a few questions, and then we're gonna talk about this, okay? In what way did Opal think that she, and this was from the last chapter, I'm gonna ask you one question. In what way did Opal think she and Winn-Dixie were alike? Winn-Dixie, and how are they same? Before I can
Yes, ma'am.
how?
Ma'am,
क्योंकि
both
उसके
Okay, one person, Sunita, yes.
क्योंकि उसके मम्मा नहीं थे, वो अपनी मदर को मिस कर रही थी.
Right, so they both were orphans, right? She thought they both are orphan. Okay, Okay, let's see. What was the 10th thing the preacher told Paul about her mother? Who remember the 10th thing, the last thing he told her?
Yes, ma'am.
Ma'am,
And
she loved her daughter very much.
Okay, okay, let's see. So let's see, I'm gonna go back to where I can see everyone. So I don't know what happened. Just go on to the next slide. Actually, my many screens are open at this time. Okay, so who was telling me the 8th thing? Sunita was telling me? Who is telling me the 8th thing?
Ma'am, may I?
Yes.
She couldn't stand having the ladies at the church judge what she was wearing and what she was cooking, how she was dressing like that.
Right. So because the people were judging her, being preacher's wife, and she did not, right?
She doesn't like being judged by others.
Right. She was like,
She didn't like preacher's wife.
right. And she was thinking like she's under like an insect under a microscope, right? Everyone is trying to see her. Right. Yes. Okay. So let me get more questions about this one. Is there anyone remember the okay, Sandeep, why do you think Gopal's mother left?
Ma'am, she was a wife of a preacher, and I think, as far as I know, that preacher never drinks. But she was really fond of drinking beer, and that's what the preacher didn't like into her. But
Yes. Mhm.
and they usually would get fight with each other on this matter because they would quarrel on this matter. The preacher said that you should leave, you should not do much beer drinking, it's not good for you and anything like that. But she never stopped, and because this is so because she never liked to be the wife of a preacher. So I think that it was like she was like frustrated already.
And you think that was the reason that she was drinking heavily?
Yes, ma'am. I think that's the reason, because she didn't like to be the wife of a preacher. And that's why she was stressed, and to get out or to get some relief to this stress, she usually drink.
Yeah, so she didn't like being the preacher's wife, and they fought because she was, and whenever she drank alcohol, you say alcohol, or she was alcoholic, right? Alcoholic means addicted, kind of a person who is addicted to drinking alcohol is alcoholic. Okay, so she was like that. So whenever she drank, they fought a lot. Excellent. Okay, why now? This question is to Karunesh. Karunesh, why she was writing down everything? Why India Opal? Why she wrote down everything? You remember that?
No, ma'am.
Huh?
No, ma'am.
You didn't? Kajal, do you remember? Why she wrote down everything? All the about her mother. Guys,
Because,
yes, go ahead.
because he didn't like her.
Because what?
Because he didn't like her. He didn't want to be a preacher's wife.
No. The girl actually, the preacher is telling all these things to her daughter. And her daughter wrote down everything about her mother because preacher was telling. Preacher is actually a father, but he works in the church. That's why even the daughter calls him pretty much. When she refer about him, she says preacher. But when she talks to him, she says dad. She doesn't say preacher. But this girl is writing down everything about her mother because
She
Yes,
is
Sunita.
memorized. She memorized all things
Why she wants to memorize everything?
because she is similar for her mother.
Okay, she loves her mother, but she didn't give that reason. She gave another reason why I'm right.
May I say?
Huh?
May I say?
She what? I didn't understand.
She wants to memorize 10 things because when she like when she get back, or if she meets somehow, then so she could recognize her. Recognize her.
Right. Yes. So she was saying, in case one day if my mom will come back, then it will be easy for me to recognize her, right? That she is my mom. I just can recognize her by her look and how she behaves, right? Because
Yeah.
she's funny. She had red hair and freckles.
Freckles.
Right? So that's
Okay.
why she's writing down everything about her. Yes, excellent. Okay. Now I want you, who can tell me the two things? The two things are same in Apal and her mother. The both mother and daughter have two similarities.
Yes,
Yes, MD.
ma'am, both have red hairs and wrinkles on face.
Freckles.
Wrinkles on face.
Freckles.
Okay. That is the one. That is like red hair and
She could run faster. She also
Yes, run fast
can run
as
fast.
Amy similarly.
So they both were fast runners, right? They both were fast runners, and their look was same. Their hair color and the freckles on the face were same. That was similar, right? They both were similar. Okay. So, anyone who wants to tell me four qualities? Anyone? Just four qualities. Let's see. There are some red. Redmay, are you new today, or you were here before? REGMI 7A. Are you new in this class? Hello? 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 No, no talking. Hello, Sundar. Class.
Hello, ma'am.
Hello. So, good evening. So today our internet, we had a Zoom issue, so we closed the session and we started this session again. Okay. So
Yes, ma'am. Yes, ma'am. I watched it on your live stream.
Oh, okay. So I'm gonna end from the live stream because our lesson ends, and I'm gonna edit that